Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining that if buying a 2006 to 2011 Honda Civic Si is worth buying in 2022. Before I get into the video, I just want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel and watched all of the videos this past week. I've gained around 20 subscribers and I'm just very happy. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and you know, I'll keep feeding you guys content if you guys keep showing me support. But anyways, right here is a 2007 Honda Civic Si painted in habanero red pearl. It's a very rare color. Back in the day when these cars were new, you had to pay $2,000. This is an option. Right here, this car isn't stock, but if you guys are looking into buying one, I think that these cars are only going to keep on going up in value. In the next 10 years, you won't be able to find one clean and find one stock. So the question is it worth buying one in 2022? So I'd say yes, because these cars come from factory with a K20 Z3 motor. A healthy one stock, you could dyno it at around 170 to 180 wheel, and the sky's the limit. You could go turbo or you could go supercharged. You'll make 400 or 500 horsepower depending on the tuner and depending on the turbo or supercharger kit. That's my next plan for the car, honestly. The first thing you have to look out for when buying these cars is the obvious that's right there, and that is the clear coat failure. It always starts on the roof first, and then it works its way to the trunk, and then it just goes wherever it just decides to fail at. Mine is failing on the trunk. I'm going to change the trunk into the FD2 trunk or the CSX trunk. The second thing to look out for when buying these cars is make sure you just test drive it, obviously. Just because, like, they can say, like, yeah, the transmission shifts perfect, and these cars are very, very, very notorious for gear grinds. These cars notoriously grind second gear and they grind third gear. And also check reverse. Reverse is a huge giveaway. They usually they grind in reverse too. Mine is doing that right now as we speak. And this is sort of like a deal breaker in my opinion for these cars. It's like, yeah, you could get high horsepower and be reliable, but the weak point of this car is the transmission. These transmissions are awful in these cars. And I had to change my transmission maybe 3 times because the first time my differential locked up. I bought another transmission from the FG2. Then that transmission kept popping out of 3rd gear, 5th gear. Then I just got tired of it and just rebuilt the transmission. So theoretically, I'm on my 3rd transmission with this car. Like, these transmissions don't really handle power like that. Another thing about these cars is the aftermarket support. The aftermarket support is incredible on these cars, especially on the 4 doors. The 2 doors are the same way, motor and transmission wise, but body wise, you can do so much to the 4 doors. And this is probably why I got the 4 door, because you could do the JDM front end, you could do the Mugen side skirts or HFP side skirts, you could do the JDM rear end. The sky is really the limit on these cars. In my opinion, I think these cars are like the best bang for buck tuner sports sedans that you can buy today in 2022, just because of all the aftermarket support these cars have. You can make it a full-on race car, or you can make it a street car, which mine is set up to be a street car right now until I get my daily. I just want this car to be reliable and fun. I could beat on it all day and it could take me to work tomorrow morning. Pause. Another thing about these cars is the community. The community could be somewhat toxic, but overall, the community is amazing. Every time I'm outside in this car and I see another SI, it's always nothing but love. Every single time. A new Civic Si or older Civic in general is just always love in the community, which is why I gravitated towards these cars too. Because let's say if something goes wrong, I could go to the forums on Facebook and, you know, I already have an answer on what's wrong with my car or what I could do to my car to make it better, faster, look any means necessary. If I need an answer on something, I'll always have an answer. Community on these cars is amazing, and you won't really get that in other car communities. Expect to pay around anywhere from $3,500 depending on condition and if it's a coupe, and then all the way to around, I would say, 10 to 20 grand depending on if it's a Mugen, a 2008 Mugen SI edition, or a four-door. It just depends on the mileage and the condition of these cars and where you're also at. Because I remember I went to Las Vegas, I tried looking at Civic SIs for sale, and I only found one for sale. As opposed to being in New York, I live in New York, there's hundreds for sale, and they range from anywhere from 35 to like 15 grand. Like I said, depending on the year and the mileage, I've paid 4 grand for mine with 103,000 miles back in 2019 before a snowstorm. And I'm pretty sure you won't find another one in this condition for 4 grand ever again, unless you get very lucky. So here's the main question: is it worth buying a 2006, 2011 Honda Civic Si worth it in 2022? I say yeah. There's a lot more pros than cons, so it balances out. Just be prepared for when stuff does go wrong. Just have at least $1,000 to $2,000 always set aside, just in case when things go wrong. And that's kind of overdoing it. The most expensive thing to go wrong on these cars is the transmission or the motor. You could get a transmission for around $1,000 to like $1,500. Motor-wise, you can go anywhere from spending $800 to like $1,500 if you're lucky. Also for the little things like lights, the radios, like with me personally, my car have been through so much just because of the previous owner. Previous owner really didn't care for this car like I did, and you gotta really be careful on who you buy the car from and make sure that they did all of the maintenance and did everything to make sure that this car is in tip-top shape. So keep in mind, things will go wrong and you're going to have to replace parts on this car because it is a 15-year-old Honda, especially a Civic Si. You know the previous owner beat on this car. So just be prepared to replace things, and things will go wrong just like every other car on planet Earth. Things will go wrong. You're gonna have to replace parts, and if you're very committed on building this car to where you want it, you're just gonna have to be committed, and you're just gonna have to just put up with it like I have, and I think it'll be worth it. This sums up the video right here. If you want to buy an 8th gen Civic Si or not, and I'd say yes, it's worth it. You can do so much to these cars to make them however you want it and make it unique to yourself. And also, this is a really great car to learn how to drive manual, learn how to build stuff and be mechanical. This car has taught me so much things about owning a car, and it's one of the best first cars you can buy. Hope this video inspired you guys to either buy a Civic Si, and maybe one day we can link up if you are in the New York City area. Leave a comment on my video and hit me up on Instagram at fa5_Paris. It's on the screen right now. Maybe make a video together and cruise one day, and I could do a review on your car.